So today I'm going to show you how to sharpen pastel pencils with a knife and sandpaper. And I'm just going to put you on mute in case we've got any dogs barking.
Cats mowing.
And if you have a question, absolutely you can unmute yourself, or you can put it in the chat as well. So I'm going to show you the most economical way to do it, the most eco-friendly way to do it, and the most consistently effective way to do it. Okay, somebody else has just joined. Let's just let them in. There we go. Right, so I'm going to move the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Right, okay. So I've got a number of knives here. Those three are actually the same. There's a different one that's very similar, and this one as well. Someone else in there. This one you probably recognize. It's the good old Stanley knife, and I think this one could be anywhere between 40 and 60 years old because it was my dad's, and it's really heavy. And we all know that Stanley knives are really good, but actually I find this Stanley knife harder to use than your cheapest chips from we have the range in the UK, just any cheap craft knife. They are the thicker bladed ones, the ones that are about an inch wide on the blade, and they're really good. I find they're actually really quite light. Now, I know I said to you that, just admitting more people there, I said to you that you can do this even if you do have weak hands, arthritis in your hands, and I've got double jointed thumbs. If you look at my thumbs, they bend back quite a bit further than they should. And also my hands are the size of my, when he was 9-year-old. I have got very small hands, so I don't have strong hands. There's nothing special about my hands. It is just practice, okay? So please don't feel like your hands are too small, that you can't do it, or they're not strong enough that you can't do it. So the first one about not being strong enough, what you need then is a new blade because it shouldn't be hard. Now there are some pastel pencils. This is one, it's a Cretacolor, that the wood is actually harder than the other ones. Whereas we've got a Carbothello here, the wood is quite soft on those and reasonably soft on the Faber-Castell as well. But I'm going to show you a few of these. So let's get started. I've got one here in my hand and it is a Faber-Castell. Now I'm not going to say left or right-handed when you do this because I know that's confusing as well. I'm just going to move the camera a bit that way so you can see my hands better because it's all about the hands, okay? Now my dominant hand, I'm holding the knife in. So the hand I write with is the hand I'm holding the knife in. And I'm holding it like this. And I've got my thumb there. And for stage one of this, actually, that is all that hand needs to do. It doesn't need to do anything except hold the knife, okay? The magic happens all in your non-dominant hand, so your other hand, okay? This one's only job is to hold the knife. This one does quite a few things, okay? So I'm just going to put that knife down a bit. You'll see I've just put my thumb on that knife there, and this hand here holding that pencil, it's going to pull it like this. That's all it's going to do. That is the complete action. This hand does nothing. So my thumb pushes the knife, so I'm totally in control of this, and my grip pulls the pencil backwards, and that's it, okay? If you're finding that too hard, you want to check that your knife is sharp and not blunt and you haven't used it too much for lots of other things. Right. So that is all you do. You push like that, turn, and then push. There's none of this business, none of this. And this would be this dominant hand doing all the work, and you don't want any of that. You want your non-dominant hand doing all the work. So on the blade, and that's why it's good to have one of these inch wide craft knives rather than the smaller one. You're just squeezing the pencil and pushing it. Okay, pushing the knife, squeeze and push, squeeze and push, squeeze and push, and you're in total control of that. There's no like I said earlier, none of this going on at all. If you do this, you're going to damage something that's over there, and you're probably going to break your pencil as well. So it's pushing all that work with your non-dominant hand. Now, stage 2 is a little bit further, and this is a scoop. And so this is the only thing that you do with this hand, you scoop. So as I push, I scoop up like that. Now you saw just now that I didn't actually need to do that scoop, but it does help as you get closer to the core. If you scoop, you miss the core, and then your pencil doesn't break. Okay, now when I taught myself how to do this, there weren't any videos on YouTube about how to do it, so I really did have to find my own way. And over the space of a month, I think I learned how to do that technique. Okay, refining it just a little bit with the scoop, and realizing that this is totally not the way to do it like this. You need to just push gently and scoop. And as soon as you feel that it's just a little bit too hard to do, that's when you need to think about a new blade. And these ones in here are snap-off blades. So this one will actually last quite a long time because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in there. Right, okay, so let's do that. Now we're scooping because we're getting really close to the core. So the scoop is really helpful. And I use my pencils, nearly every day because it's my job. So my knife is going to go much blunter than yours, so yours will last longer. You won't have to be snapping blades off every 5 minutes. There we go. So we've revealed quite a lot of the core there. And then what you need is a piece of sandpaper. I've got 80 grit here, and it is really quite gritty. I did try something like 120 grit or 180 grit, and that it just takes longer to do. So the bigger the grit that you've got, the easier this next bit is. And when I first started doing this, I started going side to side like this to make this nice and sharp. But it really, really does hurt your wrist and your arm, and you get really, it's much easier to go up and down like this. Now, this is really important as well. And if you don't get the angle right on this, you're going to end up getting a nice round tip to it. So what you need to do is get as low as possible to the paper whilst you do this. So you're not doing this up and down. You're getting almost, well, actually that angle there between the tip and the wood is the angle you want on there. Like it's all touching the paper. And then slowly you're turning it. Slowly, slowly, slowly turning it round. So I'm spinning it in my fingers like this as I turn round. So if you struggle with doing this spinning, just take a pencil to your sofa and have a practice at spinning it round. When you're sat in front of the TV, have a go at practicing it. So I'm slowly just spinning it round. Tap it on the side because you always get a bit of loose dust. And then you've got a really sharp pastel pencil there. It's very nice and sharp. And that will give you super, super sharp lines. Okay, and that's why you want to do it. Right. It doesn't always go this well. Sometimes they break. And sometimes that is because perhaps you were a bit too vigorous with it, or because actually the pencil's broken. It's not always your fault when that breaks. Okay, sometimes these things just happen, and you know, perhaps it got dropped at the manufacturers or in the shop, and the core is broken all the way along, and that is really a pain. But just remember, it's not always your fault when that breaks. Okay, I'm going to show you another one now. So this one is a Faber-Castell as well. And this one, as you can see, it has broken. It's a flat top, but that is a good thing. You don't necessarily want these to get rid of these. So for example, if this was a white or cream pastel pencil or even a light grey, you have got a really sharp edge there for some whiskers, which is brilliant. So this isn't always a bad thing. If your pencil breaks and you end up with I call it a flat top, that can be really, really useful with a very, very sharp edge right there. Okay, that's one other. So you've got your sharp point, you've got a flat top there, and we've got a chisel shape here. And a chisel shape is also really good for whiskers. Got another one here. That's a pink one. That is also one I've used for whiskers in the past. So with this one, same again, I would exactly the same technique. So I'm just with my dominant hand, I'm just holding the knife. The other hand, I'm squeezing and pushing with my thumb. Just squeeze and push like that. Ah, look at that. It broke. That's a shame. But it happens. It does happen. More so with Caran d'Ache than other pastel pencils, unfortunately, because they are softer. But you can get these. This is a Kohinoor. Kohinoor. It's called a Versatile 5347. There's quite a few different sizes, but you can pop it in there. Some of them fit, some of them don't. This one isn't the right one, but I will get the right number for you. If you're in my hub, you've got the number in there. This one doesn't quite fit in, but they do in some of these smaller ones. Okay, so that's what you can do if it's if you have that problem. So I've got to keep going now. So if I was making this into a chisel shape for whiskers, you see that you watch this hand, watch how it's pulling back all the time, and this one is doing nothing. So I was going to make a chisel shape for whiskers, but it broke. So I have now got a flat top for whiskers, which is, you know, just as good. Got a very, very sharp edge, and it's great. And in fact, it's so good that I'm not going to waste this showing you how to do a chisel shape. I'm going to save that because that will be really handy later on. I'm going to get another one and show you on another one. So let's try that pink one. What's that one? There it is. Yeah. So I'm just going to reveal a little bit more and hope this one doesn't break. It's all about the sharp knife. If you're finding it hard, you need a sharper knife. Okay, there we go. It's just started raining here. I hope it's not too loud. So for the chisel shape, you just do it on one side and the other side. And you have to check down the center to make sure it is actually a good shape and not ending up a triangle shape. But that is all you do. And that is a really useful shape to use. Just going to see if there's any questions. And right, let's have a go at the Cretacolor, because sometimes this is hard. Yeah, the wood is a little bit harder on this one, but it's still okay to do. Just don't, if you find some resistance, just give it a wiggle and then it'll go for you. And don't take too much off in one go. And I'll show you something else not to do. It's really tempting to do it, but don't do what I'm about to show you, because it will end in tears. Unless your knife is practically brand new. So there we are. Okay, so it's really tempting now to go a bit further and just chip away at that core to get a nice sharp edge. So what happens here is this could break really quite easily, and you're making your knife really blunt in the process. Okay, so those crank handle sharpeners, they're great for 5 minutes, and then they do go blunt. I know there's various things you can do to keep them sharp, but they still don't stay sharp for long. And the reason is because the blade is cutting through this core, and with the knife you're only cutting through the wood. Okay, and that's why it will stay sharper for longer. You don't want to be cutting that, not unless you're quite happy to change the blades frequently. Okay, so let's sharpen this. Now, what can happen with this is you can press too hard and it will snap. So you need to go very lightly with the pressure and turn slowly. Just back and forth, very lightly pressing. You don't need to press hard. And then you get that nice sharp pencil. And this will give you lots of opportunities to redo it. So as you use this and it gets a little bit blunt, you don't have to come back to the sharpening. You just come back to the sandpaper and resharpen a little bit. And you could probably get about 3 or 4 goes with the sandpaper before you have to use the knife again. Right, let's have a look. Is there anything else I was going to show you? I think that was it. There's another Cretacolor one. Is there any questions? I'm going to unmute you all now. Anybody got any questions? Anybody feeling like they'll never be able to do it?
Thank you, Sue. That was really helpful.
Good. Who said that?
Sam.
Sam. Thank you,
Yeah,
Sam.
yeah. That was brilliant. Thanks.
Good. Any other questions?
So I watched you've already got a video online of it, a
Yeah.
YouTube video. And in that you put the dust into pots to make pan pastels.
Yeah. I didn't. I said I did. I said that's what I was doing it for, and I did it. And I thought, gosh, do you know what? I just can't be bothered with this.
Okay, because
But
I did try it and I thought, yeah, I'm not sure if this is helpful. And then I kept getting mixed colours when I
yeah,
shook it off the sandpaper.
yeah, I did it for a bit, and I know people who do it, and they like doing it, and it's great. but I just gave up in the end because the colours, I didn't have enough pots to have enough colours, and actually when I was using it I thought, oh, I don't really like this, so I stopped doing it in the end. Life's
My
just,
tendency would be to not to waste it, but if you've said it, I can waste it.
yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, I just sent you a remark, Sue, that you can also use a pen for diamond painting. And if you put a tip in it, it fits. I don't know if you can see it. This one just broke when I tried it. This is the diamond painting thing. You see?
Oh,
There's a
one of
grip.
those. Oh, yes.
And
Okay.
then you put it in and it fits and it stays put.
So it's similar to this. It's got a claw grip in it.
Yeah, I have got the one you have too. But this is so easy because every point fits in it. Every tip fits.
Everything fits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you put us a link to that or a picture of what it is?
Yeah, I will do.
'Cause I've seen those before, as in real life, but not in a shop.
I think it's Amazon or something
Oh,
like that,
okay.
and I bought it. But I will put a link on it.
Good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions? No? But this was meant to be quick and sweet, but it is all about your hands, about using each hand to do the job and not going back into that old habit of thinking, oh, I'm just gonna push it right off like that. It's all about the control and being it nice and slow. And you can see my hands, you can see my finger here. I have got arthritis in my fingers. My fingers are not strong. So please don't think you can't do it because your hands are too weak. I mean, my mum is 81. She's got stronger hands than me. She can open jars and I can't. So don't think you need strong hands to do it. Okay?
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing from you about how you get on. Post in my group pictures of your pencils all nice and sharpened. Okay? All right. I'll speak to you
Thank
soon
you,
then.
Sue.
I'll send out the
Okay,
video.
thank you very much.
Thanks
Bye.
very much.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye. Bye.